It's funny, say transition time. Like my country came, at one point my country went through a transition. We transitioned to democracy. So a transition was like a word we used for like everything's hopefully gonna be better, but it's gonna be worse while we're at it. So transition time. All right, let's go into the segment called Built Weekly. And I'm not sure if this segment name is good. Chat, is Built Weekly a good name for the segment? I think I would have to run a poll with all of you to make sure that this is something that resonates with you all, because it's not something that I tremendously like, but I couldn't think of something better. All right. So the goal of today, let me go into the thing here. I need to do a couple of things before we kick it off, because I have so many windows on this side. I want to make sure I can move around stuff and I can see stuff. So the goal of today is going to be, we're going to be building an S3 bucket static website hosting thing with CDK for Terraform. How is that gonna work? Is we're gonna be installing CDK Terraform. Basically, it's a CLI tool. We're gonna be writing some CDK for Terraform, and we're hopefully gonna be deploying that. Now, I've done this last night just to make sure it all works. It works, but I'm gonna try to go through all of these things with you so we can make it as real as we can. So, let me find my thing here. I need to go and find the demos doc directory, and then there we go. There we go. That's it. Then, nope, that's not it. That's a different thing I was doing. Testing. Okay, there we go. CDK TF. Boom. Awesome. I found it. All right. So let me switch a thing over and move it there as well, like that. And chat, let's actually kick it off. Oh my God, I have 100 people watching this live stream. Hello, all the wonderful folks joining this live stream. What is this all about? Why is this bald man yelling into the camera? This is a show called Build On Weekly, where we do stuff on the cloud, with open source, with the community, and everything in between. My name is Darko, and today, right now, we're attempting to build a static website on a bucket using using CDK, Cloud Development Kit for Terraform. So if there's any Terraform folks out there in the chat, hello, welcome to the thing. The screen is not yet shared, my good sir. I am about to do that. I'm trying to switch to the proper thing so I don't show off things that I should not. Okay, so the goal of today is that we are gonna be doing some stuff with Terraform, actually Terraform, CDK for Terraform, that's the word. I am gonna be switching through a couple of things here like that. Okay, so let's talk about CDK for Terraform. There's a question coming in from 7M. AQB. Hello, I have a lot of Lambda functions that are deployed by Terraform. I think if I use CDK without specifying HCL, the HashiCorp language, for every Lambda, it can automatically go through handlers and deploy them automatically. What do you think about this idea? Do you mean like making a for loop to deploy a bunch of different Lambda functions instead of specifying each one of them? Yes, you can do that with CDK for Terraform, because again, CDK utilizes the power of a generic programming language. Yes, you can do that. So one of the examples I'm going to be doing today is uploading files to an S3 bucket, basically creating a bunch of S3 objects with a for loop. So yes, you can do that. Maybe the thing I show you today, you can also use for your exact same use case. Thank you, God bless 27, cool fork bomb shirt. Yes, for all of you that don't know this, don't type this in, please. It's something you should not be doing. Okay, awesome. So let's kick off. I need to get my bearings straight here. Where is the thing? Yep, like that. Okay, so what do we do first time? Let's go and take a step back. Let's create a directory. Well, first of all, let's install CDK for Terraform. CDK for Terraform is just a tool framework that helps you build out Terraform code using the Cloud Development Kit. This means I can use languages like Python, like TypeScript, like JavaScript, like Golang to build out some wonderful Terraform. So I can use all of the benefits of that. How do you install CDK for Terraform? Well, that's easy. You just run this command. You install an npm install global -- global CDK TF -CLI latest. It's gonna install this thing. Now it's probably gonna complain because it doesn't have permissions, but yeah, there you go. You need to do sudo, and then it will do that, right? So it should potentially ask me for a password. Will you ask me for? There you go. I've already installed it on my workstation, but this is how it should work. You're installing the CDK CLI. So if you do, let me zoom in. CDK TF CLI help or version. Nope, is that not it? It's CDK TF. There you go. You should see that it's version 0.12.0. That's it. It's installed. We can start using it. So let's go. Let's kick it off. Let's create a directory here. Let's call CDK or actually static website with CDK TF. All right. Let's go into this directory and let's initialize this project. So the way you do it, you do CDK TF init and use a template. The template here is the template I'm using here is CDK. Well, that's a. There we go. The template I'm going to be using here is basically telling it what language to use. I'm going to be using TypeScript, like that. Boom. It's going to generate the entire structure and everything we need to run this in production. Basically, run this CDK template. All of the files, all the package JSON, everything we need, and some boilerplate files as well. Do you want to continue with Terraform Cloud Remote State Management? I'm not going to do that. By default, CDK Terraform gives you a free use of the Terraform Cloud for free, right? I'm not going to be doing any of that because I'm going to just going to be doing it locally. So say no. Project name, this is a fine project name. A description, I'm going to go with that. Do you want to start from a Terraform project? Like if you already have an existing Terraform project? I don't, so I'm going to say no. Do you want to send crash reports? I'm going to send the crash reports, that's fine. That's it. So it now constructs everything we need, and we can kick it off and build some stuff. All right. So if we clear the screen and look at what we have, we have a bunch of stuff, right? A bunch of files. The most important file here is the main.ts. So if you do main.ts, this is the file that contains all of the things you need to watch. By the way, I do see my buddy Kobus on Slack telling me to slow down. I will, Kobus. Thank you so much. You know, when I talk by myself, it feels like I need to get through this stuff too fast. So thank you for noticing that, Kobus. All right, main.ts. This is where we're going to be adding all of our stuff. But before we get into that, we need to install some of the requirements. Namely, we need to enable the AWS provider for Terraform. So if you do CDK, I'm actually going to do it manually. CDK TF provider, add, and I'm going to add the AWS provider, and the version is going to be 4.0, right? There we go. So with this command, you add the AWS provider to this entire project. If that works, boom. All right, excellent. We have installed the package. Now, we're going to be installing a couple more packages for this specific workload because we're going to be creating a static website on an S3 bucket. We're going to be needing some additional node packages to help us work with that. Namely, we're going to be installing a package called glob. So npm install glob at latest. And we're going to be installing the MIME types. Lastest, okay? Latest. Lastest. Install the lastest, please. And then MIME types. Test. The reason we're doing this is we're going to be using glob to search through some files and MIME types to actually define what kind of a MIME type we're uploading to S3. All right. Once that is done, we are ready to kick it off. I'm going to switch to a thing here because I want to be able to see what kind of stuff do I need to do. but I also want to be able to see the chat. So, yes. Kobus, welcome to the stream, and make sure that you check out CDK for Terraform. This improves Terraform. Let me put it lightly. Awesome. So, flipping back to this thing right here, and I see a couple of here. Sponshine is here. Ricardo is here. Hello. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for joining. All right. Let's see, what's the time? Oh, we have plenty of time. Let's go and add stuff to our thing. So let's first of all discuss what do we need for a very simple static website on an S3 bucket. Why would you do that? What's the deal? Why don't you just run a website on a web server? Because it's simpler, because it's serverless, because it's all what the cool kids do these days. Well, actually, cool kids use Amplify. Never mind. We're going to be using S3 for this. So what we're gonna need is we're gonna be needing a bucket. We need to configure the bucket to provide web. Basically, configure the bucket to be a website. Get to be for a website, and we also need to open up the bucket because we need to give it access to the world, and we need to add files, right? So those are the things we need to define here. Now, how do you do that? It's relatively simple. Before we do any of that, because this is Terraform, we need to define some provider settings. So we're going to be doing a provider, so AWS provider. This is required because if you want to define something, for example, which region Terraform should use, this is where you do stuff here. All right, like any good project, let's start with imports. Let's first of all import a couple of things we need. I'm going to import path. Path is a Node.js library just so I can read stuff off disk. Simple as that. From path, like that, boom. I'm going to need something from glob, right? So import sync as glob from glob. And then I'm going to need import lookup as mime from mime types. There you go. So these two are just some Node.js external libraries that we're going to be using for some file stuff, right? Just so you know. Okay, and then finally we need a couple of things. I'm going to be adding basically a thing here from the CDK TEF library. I'm going to be adding Terraform output. This is just for us so we can output something on the console using Terraform. And then finally, let's add something for AWS. So I'm going to be using AWS provider. So this is just part of the AWS library for CDK Terraform that can help us define stuff on in an AWS provider, and I'll get to that in a second. And also, I just need S3, right? That's it. So these two things, I'm gonna say from at what is it? CDK TF provider AWS. By the way, I'm going to be sharing links for like getting started with CDK TF in the chat, just so you know. And this code I'm going to attempt to push to GitHub. So if you want to go check it out after the stream or after watching this video, you can do that. Okay, I think this is all good. Import AWS providers S3 from CDK TF provider AWS. I think we are good. All right, we're going to ignore these 3 lines and we're going to kick it off with the provider. So how do you do that? New AWS provider, and then let's do this. The standard thing, call it this, call it AWS, and then let's configure it. The configuration we're going to be using is just defining the region. I'm going to say region, and I'm going to say US West 2, and I'm going to be removing this thing here, right? There we go. That's it. Just making sure that we're launching this in the Oregon region, nothing special, and that's it. Yes, special. Yeah, I'm gonna be posting the link. Basically, I have the GitHub repo empty right now. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna push it to that GitHub repo, and hopefully we're gonna do it together. Okay, so provider is configured, nothing too special. Let's go and create a bucket. How do you create a bucket? Oh my God, I'm glad you asked. Let's give it a name. Const. We're saying const here because we're creating a variable because we're gonna be using that variable throughout this template. What's a good name for a bucket? What's a good name for a bucket? I usually call it bucket with a B-A-K-E-T, but that's not fun. See, the toughest part of a software project is variables. What's the good variable? I love CDK Terraform. Okay, let's name the bucket Cobus. Co-bucket. Co-bucket. There you go. New Cobus, you are you've done it yourself. So let's add up a new bucket. We're going to be using the S3 thing we imported, basically S3, and give it an S3 bucket. And then again, this, give it a name for the bucket, Cobus website bucket, like that, and then configure it. Now, the configuration thing here is there's a bunch of stuff you can add here, configuration when it comes to a bucket, all kinds of bells and whistles. The only thing we're gonna need to create here is just define a name, and that's just bucket. Now, Terraform people. Hello, Terraform people in chat. I have a question for you. Why is the way you name a bucket, why is the property of a bucket name called bucket? Yes. Why couldn't you just say name and then a name of the bucket? No, it has to be bucket. So, yeah, all right. Let's call it Cobus website bucket. I'm sure somebody from Terraform will come and say, yeah, that's why we did it, right? So, yeah. All right. Spunshine LL says, can you zoom out the code a bit? Yes, I can. I'm trying to make this really readable for all of you, so I just want to make sure that everybody who watches this live stream can actually view the code in the best way. So, yeah. Right. That's it. This is a bucket. If I would run this thing right now, we would get a bucket. However, we need a couple of more things. So, speaking of a couple more things, we need to basically enable website configuration, right? So how to do that? So first of all, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. How did I know all of this? How did I know that I need to do this? There is a website. There is a website somewhere. I'm gonna share with you if I can find it. Here it is. There we go. This thing, the Construct Hub, the constructhub.dev gives you all the things you need to do stuff with CDK for Terraform. It actually took me a while to find the actual API documentation. So if you go there, you will find all of the things you need for an S3 bucket, right? So like all of the bucket configuration items, like if you go to config, S3 bucket config, you see that the bucket is a thing here. So, and it also links to the Terraform documentation and all stuff like that. So this is where you find the stuff you need to work with. All right. Let me go back to this thing and then open up a thing. Where are you? Where are you? No, not that. Please give me that. There you go. So what we said, we need to configure the back bucket for the website. We basically need to create a website configuration for a bucket. How to do that? Well, we just say new. We're not creating a variable here because we are not going to be using this in the future. We're just defining a configuration. So new S3 bucket website configuration. Configuration, there we go. And then this, and let's give it a name, Cobus website bucket, website config, let's call it that way. There we go. And let's configure it. So this is very simple. We just tell it what bucket shall be configured as a website. So we say bucket equals cobucket.bucket, right? Super simple. That's it. And then we need to define two things. We're going to define an index document and an error document. So if we do index document like that, and then give it a name, suffix, index.html. By the way, for all of you wondering, how does Darko know all of this by heart? He doesn't know all of this by heart. He's reading it off a screen. So just so you know, I have it prepared, but I want to take you through actually writing the code. So. Okay, so this is the index document. Basically, where does your website go once it lands on the bucket? It goes to a file called index.html. We're also going to add a couple of things here. We're going to add an error document, right? So that means that if an issue arises, we need an error document. And we're going to be calling it error.html. Boom, that's it. The bucket is now configured to serve a website. Well, it's not yet, as soon as we launch it. Now, opening up the bucket to the world. We need to give basically everybody permissions to access files from the bucket, right? Basically, we need to open it. At AWS, where I work, this is a problem. Every time I open up a bucket, somebody gets an email. The Darko has opened up a bucket. So just so you know, I'm gonna create this bucket and quickly delete it so we don't trigger any tickets. So let's do the same thing. New S3, and then basically there's a object called S3 bucket policy. We're defining a policy that will say how this bucket is accessible, right? So let's call it Cobus policy, the best policy, right? Also for those of you who don't know Cobus is my colleague. He looks very much like me. He's also wonderfully bald and wonderfully bearded. So if you don't know him, check him out on Twitter, Cobus Bernard. You can find him there as well. All right, define a bucket, co-bucket, bucket. Basically what we're passing here is the bucket name. And then we need to do the policy. Now the policy is basically a JSON object. So we're gonna be using JSON, stringify, and then basically gonna be adding the big old string. However, I'm not gonna be typing this out because I don't like typing out JSON. So I'm gonna be doing this. I think this is gonna be fine, yeah. So if I do this and go here and boom, there we go. So what have we done here? I need to change something here. I need to do, instead of this, I need to say co-bucket. So what is this? This is a JSON object that basically allows public read or public access to the S3 get object. In essence, it allows any objects to be publicly accessible through the internet inside of this bucket. That means only the get API call can be made by anybody. Simple as that. There we go. I think this is good for when it comes to the stuff we're looking at. So let me just have a look. Does this look nice? It looks nice. I'm just gonna add a little comma here for brevity. And I think we are good on time. Perfect. While we get to the next part, I want to go and look at the chat. So a couple of comments here. Yes, Ricardo says, I know this from the top of my head. Nope, nothing can fit on the top of my head. See, there's not even hair on this side. AWS Events asks, has anybody seen AWS, Darko, and Cobus in the same room? That still hasn't been confirmed, right? People do call us the same person. So yeah, there we go. This looks like a Microsoft event data scientist speaking. Why would you say that? I mean, I'm genuinely interested. Do I look like a data scientist? Like I'm as far removed from data science as from knitting. So thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, is it because of my tattoos? Maybe that. And there's a question from somebody with the Korean characters in their name. Are there any reasons you grant two resources, all the files in co-bucket and literally the co-bucket? That's the best way to do it. You basically give access to the root object, but also anything underneath the root object. That's what you need to do, right? You need to basically, those are the two permissions you need to give a bucket to be accessible from the world, right? That's it. Just to do it that way. Thank you, Gloom is the Vex. Yeah, Sergey, thank you so much. Okay, Darko, the data scientist, will continue in his journey on creating a bucket. So maybe it's because of the bucket. And finally, the big thing, we need to add some files. Now, I'm gonna be using something very intelligent here. Now, this was not created by me. I can't take the credit for any of this. It was created by the wonderful folks over at Terraform, at HashiCorp. So I'm basically gonna be using slightly modified example of what they did for one of their example projects. So we need to add files. We need to add the index document, and we need to add the what is it called? The error document. We don't have those documents. So actually, let's go out and let's create a directory called website, and let's touch two files. Let's do website. Let's index HTML and then error.html. I think this should be okay, right? Nope. No comma. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ZSH. Do you not like this? let's do it manually, of course, because why not? Brute force stuff. So we created just 2 files. These files are going to be just your typical index.html. And let's actually do something, website index.html. Let's add lorem ipsum b doloret, like that, doloret sit amet b. Let's do some more HTML. Check out our weekly live show on href https. How exciting. You're watching a guy type HTML in real time. Boom. Okay. I think that works. All right. That's it. Let's do the error document. Error HTML. Let's just do, what's the thing from Jurassic Park? You did not say the magic word. Boom, okay. So we have our website, right? Wonderful. Let's go back into our main.ts file and let's add the files. Now to add the files, there's a resource called S3 object. It's basically a way of creating an S3 object through uploading it through Terraform. So if you go to the documentation page, here you can see S3, let me zoom in on this one a bit. You can see S3 object. It's basically a simple way of just, if you go to Terraform documentation, it's a simple way of just taking a file from disk and putting it in a bucket. Simple as that, right? So it's nothing super complicated, but just putting an S3 bucket, a file is somewhere in S3 bucket, and this file is being read off the disk. So we're going to be doing that same thing, but through CDK Terraform. But we're going to be a bit more smart about it. We're going to be adding the option to get all the files instead of just a single file. So yeah, there we go. There's a comment here from Gloom is the Hebex. Let's go that way. When you visit a website, there's a GDPR cleared event that populates all the website information you access with the geolocation information. I guess depends on the website. I would imagine, but our website doesn't do any of that. Our website is just pure HTML, so not even close to that. Okay, back to this. All right, so we're going to be doing a couple of things here for adding files. I'm going to do some scaffolding here, something to do with files using glob and path. So I'm going to be doing this. Let's do this. Const absolute path equals path.resolve, and then do the current directory, their name, website, like that. So what is this? Basically, I'm defining an absolute path to this directory. The reason you're doing this, in your typical CDK, in your typical Terraform fashion, when you upload a file from CDK, it actually uploads the file from the current working directory or from this path. When you're using CDK, it actually creates a CDK TF out directory with a whole different path, and your website files may not be there. Hence, why I'm doing this. So I'm defining the absolute path because I want to be able to know where to read the files from. Second, I need to find the files. So const files, and I'm going to be using glob here. So glob, basically I'm telling it, hey, listen, buddy, find all the files in all the subfolders that have the extension HTML. Right. So the comment from, I believe it was, who made the comment before about Terraform? Yeah, 7MWAQB. If you would be doing this with Lambda functions, you can also read a bunch of local files in the same way, right? Just read a bunch of JavaScript files or whatever language you're using, and you can rotate through them, right? So like that, and then I'm gonna be using, what did I do here? I'm gonna be doing that, and like that. And just define the current working directory is path.resolve, and then their name. Also, Twitch, chat, don't judge me on my code. I'm not a professional developer. I don't have a reputation to defend. Just so you know, my code is not potentially the best. All right, we define the files object and the absolute path variable, all of those things which we're going to be using in our next segment called the loop, file loop, right? Loop, please, yes. So let's do a for loop in this case. So files dot for each, and then call it f, and do some JavaScript magic. Now let's iterate through files. First of all, let's define a file path, because we're going to be needing this file path to the actual file, a fully absolute file path, because we want to be able to upload the file here. So const file path path equals path the join absolute path, and then file name, boom, like that. And then we're going to create a new s3 object. So this is where the actual upload happens. This, and I'm gonna be doing it like this because I want to escape CDK here and add the actual variable of the file name, and bucket is gonna be co-bucket bucket. We need to create a key. This is basically the file name, which is going to be existing in the S3 bucket, which is just the file name in the F in this case. Source, and now this is where the file path comes into play, right? And then content type, type is mine. This is where we use the mine thing. Path ext name. We take the extension of the file and then use that as a mime type. Text HTML, right? If we would have something CSS here or JavaScript, it would take that into account. And I think that's it. I think we are almost good on this one, right? Decibel Beast, is there a mod I can DM a question? Twitch chat keeps telling me it conflicts with the channel settings. Decibel Beast, I'm not sure what's the issue with the chat, but you can message. You can message me. If you want, you can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn. You can also message me on Twitch as well, or just message the AWS account. So message me. I can help answer your question after, or I think we have a couple of folks here from AWS. If there's anybody from AWS in the chat, maybe Decibel Beast can help. You can help Decibel Beast with something they have. Awesome. So this, all in all, should be ready to run, I think. The last thing we need is we need to define an output. We said we're going to be doing an output. So new, let's do it like this. Outputs, new Terraform output. And it's very much similar. Let's call it bucket ARN. Give it configuration, and just going to get a value of co-bucket, no. Let's get a bucket name. I think this would work. Bucket name. Boom. Chat, do you think this is gonna work? I've typed this from a file, but yeah, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. So let's give it a shot. The way you do this is oh, there's a typo. Okay, control by. Thank you so much. See, that's why I love you. Where is it? Absolute path. Dire name. Thank you. This is a new coding technique. Pair coding through Twitch. So CDK TF deploy should hopefully build this thing and deploy it. Right? There we go. Oh, there's a question. Okay, I see it. Decibel Blast. Question. Terraform with HCL, HashiCorp language, determines dependencies and the order of things to be built. With CDK TF, if you use a TF resource output in a JS template setting, will the CDK still pick up on that dependency? I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest. If there's anybody here from Terraform, from HashiCorp in the chat, I'm sure we can get somebody to answer that, to be honest. The thing the CDK does, CDK just generates Terraform code, right? So if you manage all of your dependencies correctly, it should work. So, but I cannot tell you for sure. Okay, CDK TF deploy, let's see. Okay, we have a failure. What failed? A lot of things failed. Oh boy. Could not file for glob. Okay. So I need to do, okay. There's a couple of things you need to do for file types. You need to do this, types glob and types mime, I think. That's the way you do it. Let's go again. Is there CDK TF synth? I don't know, to be honest. We can try it out. So let's kick it off. Let's kind of find mime types and its corresponding declaration. There should be a mime types thing. Come on. I know there should be. npm vim package JSON mime type. Mime type, not mime types, right? Is it mime type? Mime type. Like that. CDK TF deploy. It's gonna fail again, but something else. I just want to make sure that we get the errors out of the way before we do that. Oh, it's actually mime type, so that's my mistake. npm install mime types latest. There we go. Okay, change things again. CDK TF synth. Let's see if synth exists. It exists. There you go. Kevin, it exists. All right. Okay, mime types we need to add. What is else? What's else broken? Unable to compile. Couldn't find the correction for module mime types. Okay, that's okay. Left hand side use any. Okay, line 57. Vim main ts. What is this? What did I do wrong here? New S3 object. I'm gonna compare this to the code I built before. New S3 object. Did I screw something up? Const file path equals path.join absolute path. Yeah, I installed. Yeah. You know, any types for mime types. Yeah, I added this. Thank you, Kira. I've added this right now, so hopefully that should work. But I think I screwed something up as well here. Let me have a look. Let me see if I can quickly debug what I do here. For each looks good. Const file path join. I can always open up the file, which I know it works, but I'm trying to. This is hard mode. Join absolute path f. So this all looks good, right? Glob equals path, result name, their name, website. This all looks good. Does anything stick out? Am I missing a comma? I may be missing a comma. This all looks good. A single comma can completely wreck the thing you're doing, right? So let me do once again. CDK TF synth. Could not find the for module mime types. I did it. Come on. npm I save dev mime types. Okay. I think it should be there. Can remove this. npm install CDK TF synth. I'm trying to be cautious of time here to see if we can do this all in the right time. Cannot find name co-bucket. I'm sorry. Um, 61. Content, okay. I see a problem here. This is an issue type, content type, co-bucket. Did I really screw up with co-bucket? No, it's all good, co-bucket. There's a thing somewhere expected, right? Okay, like that. Okay. Once again, into the fire. You know what? Ricardo said, yeah, I loved I love live coding. Like, I wish I had more time on this to actually fully chat. It was a single comma. It was a single comma and a single typo, but it seems it works. So let's try CDKTF deploy, and let's see if this will work. Because it's still not, we're still not out of the woods yet. It generates CloudFormation CDK code, but will it deploy CDK code? Terraform code. Okay, approve. Boom. Let's see. It's creating stuff now. Are we done? Is this it? Is this it? Does this work now? Let me try. I'm gonna open up my AWS account here, like that. Let's open up a thing. I wanna see if I have the thing. S3, let's find the Cobus bucket, the Co bucket. Is this the only thing named Cobus in my account? Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this, folks. You've seen it here first, folks. Where is it? There we go. Ba-ba! There we go. The bucket, the Cobus website bucket is here. We have the index.html, we have the error file. If we go to management, no, properties, scroll all the way down, and we will see website hosting is enabled, and bucket hosting, and if we copy this link and open it in this thing, we will see Lorem ipsum doleret sit amets. Check out our weekly live show on twitch.tv/AWS. So if you all folks want to check this out, did you know that this is not fake? You can check that link out there, and boom, boom, it should all work. Well, I'm actually quite happy, but let's not end it there. Let's go to I do have a thing I wanna do here. I wanna push it to GitHub. So I do have a thing here. So let me go back to my code, and I will do this git init like that. No. I wanna just copy this piece of code here, right? Like that. Clear, boom, okay. Git add all. Git config, okay, that's okay. Will this work right now? Okay, git commit init, git push origin main. But beautiful. So if you go to github.com, let's do github.com, Darko Mesarosh, and you find the repository somewhere, CDK TF-S3 website. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Kira WADH, when am I streaming again? I am streaming every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, or whatever is your local time. So yeah, that's it. That's when I'm streaming. So you will catch me here a lot. So make sure to follow me on the Twitters. You see the thing here, and yeah, I think this is all good. You will see the main TS file here. Hopefully there's no credentials leaked out, but yeah, it should be all fine. There we go. That's it. So did you all get the link in chat? Because I think it's struggling. Hopefully. Yeah, you should get the link in the chat. If you have not, this is it. github.com darko-mesarosh /cdktf-s3 website. You can check it all out there if you want to have a look at this. I am going to do something, because if I don't do this, cdktf destroy, somebody's going to yell at me for having an open bucket. So I'm gonna destroy the bucket immediately. I'm gonna say approve. That's it. So it's wonderful. It's gone. It's goodbye bucket. Goodbye all of the stuff. You have the code on GitHub. I have to wrap up pretty well soon. So let me remove the thing from this, and I want to talk to you for a second. So CDK Terraform is just a wonderful thing. If you're a fan of Terraform, which I know a lot of you are, it's a wonderful framework for writing infrastructure as code. If you want to harness the power of languages like Python and TypeScript and Java and Golang, you can check out CDKTF, because it can help you use those languages. For example, the glob, the for loops, the mime types, all of the fun stuff I use in TypeScript for this. to build out your Terraform infrastructure. So yeah, check that stuff out. I'm actually going to paste a link for you. I do have a link somewhere, I think. Where is it? CDK for Terraform. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. I have a thing. Install CDK for Terraform. There you go. There's the tutorial thing. Stuff. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, there's the link to be reminded. Also, if you're interested in checking out some of our other stuff we do, there is a thing that we also, if you're interested in other live stuff we run on AWS, there's a wonderful form you can fill out and share as little information as you can with us, because we don't want your information, but we want to inform you for upcoming live stuff. So for upcoming events, shows, things, that's the stuff you can check out in the chat. On top of that, if you want show notes are important. If you want show notes, there are some show notes you can check out, for example, from the previous episodes. I write the show notes on Dev2. So within that Dev2 collection, you will find all of the show notes, all of the links, all of the code, all of the stuff we talked about. So if you're watching this thing on Twitch, you can go there right now. If you're watching this thing on YouTube, the links are going to be in the description thingy. And I have to go. Thank you all so much for being part of this. I need to stop the stream. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next week together with my good friend Jackie.
Hey there! Thanks for checking out this video. Remember to give it a like and share with your community. Then hit subscribe and the bell for all the latest content that will help you build on AWS.